Roburrito. I make burritos. Got hooked on burritos touring with bands a couple years ago. Damn, that's a while ago. But yeah, it was a friend from high school moved out to San Francisco, did live sound. So I ended up, punk rock band from PA, just touring. Went out to his place. He's like, hey, do you guys want to go get burritos? And just like a couple of kids from 717 are just like, sure, And then so we walk out of his house, stop in at a burrito shop, and we went in there. It was like, all I remember is like the animals were drawn, and then the parts of the animals were listed under that in Spanish. And I knew enough Spanish to be like, oh, that's cow brains. So I tricked the drummer into saying, yes, like, one sesos burrito, por favor. And like when you're touring and you're on the other side of the country, you have like $35 in your pocket, and that's supposed to get you back to Pennsylvania somehow. That ended up becoming my burrito pretty quickly once he saw the brains go on the grill. He was just like, that's not something weird, is it? And I was like, oh, just cow brains, So in my best Spanish, I was just like, no, I meant chicken breast, please. So I just threw chicken right down on top of the cow brains, mixed it up, and there was my burrito. So I got the burrito. I was just like, sat down. It was two large like community tables, and there's a little Mexican dude with a trucker hat sitting like face to face with me. And he was just like going nuts on his burrito. I was just like, you know what? He's probably eating cow brains. Here we go. So I just dive right into it. And man, like after the first bite, it was just sold. I was just like, oh my God, dude, burritos, like this is something else. I didn't know food could do this, So after that, kind of started an obsession with just touring the country. And as I toured with bands, putting as a rider on the contracts, which there weren't even contracts at the time. It was just like we sent something fake in advance to be like, you must find us like the best burrito shop to eat at in your town. And so we ended up touring the country for 6 more years, and while I was doing that, every time I came home, I would try to make burritos for myself. And as I did that, I learned what I needed to work on really quickly. And as I went through there, I started making them on Fridays, just trying to figure out, how to make something like that. So I would figure out what I was doing right, what I was doing wrong, went back out touring, would talk to owners, workers, and just people that love burritos, and kind of tweak recipes, come back, find new stuff. And then as I did that, I started making burritos regularly when I was home. And it was like every Friday at my house. And when you make burritos, you tend to make more than one. So it turned into me making burritos for my friends. And then it turned into my friends demanding them every Friday. And I was like, all right, well, if we're doing it every Friday, you guys got to throw in for them. So that turned into them bringing friends. And then it turned into, all right, well, I'm just going to do it every Friday. I'm making burritos at my house. And first day I did it, like 30 people showed up. And then within a year, there was like 170 people at my house every Friday. It was chip salsa, like a couple beers and bands, playing in the garage. It was pretty cool too from all that touring. Like I had like tons of friends from the West Coast that were on tour, stop through and play the house on Fridays, which, like bringing some awesome bands into a tiny little town. A lot of fun. Because the cops thought I was selling drugs. That was pretty funny. They held a legit stakeout, and while Toys That Kill, they had just played the garage. They were going to tour Europe, and we were a nice stop, like right before they went. They got to relax. And as soon as they go to pull out, the cops pulled right behind them, like pulled them over. It was like a block from my house, and I watched them like dump all their stuff out in the street. I'm like, oh no! Of course, they didn't have a thing on them. They had like $80 between all 5 of the guys, and the cops are like, "Where's the money?" And you're like, "Where's the drugs?" It's like he's just making burritos, man. So I got the hint there. I was like, all right, maybe I should open up a shop, and opened up one out in West York in 2006, back in January, and then just maybe about 3 months in, just started doing awesome. Like everybody started catching on. Everybody that came from the house came out too. Really awesome, like to see all kind of support. Starting up. Restaurants are really tough, and just to have support like that's really awesome. It's really fun to like go out and bring something back and like kind of hone a craft out of it too. So fun stuff. It's all punk rock got me into burritos. So I have punk rock to thank for that. Like it's not really surprising to me at all. Like punk rock's always just about do it yourself. Like change your shitty environment to what you want it. And if you work hard at it and do it for a bunch of years, hopefully it gets better, Otherwise, maybe try something else, It's just like, I don't know, I guess I'm into like mopeds and stuff too. It's just like, if I wasn't doing this, I'd probably be doing something stupid with mopeds. Or touring with bands still, until I found whatever it was I wanted to not leave here for. I mean, the burrito shop means everything to me. It's like, that's me right there, you know. Like my name's on it. It's what I do. It's the kind of burritos that I want to make. You know, it's like this is what I felt is the perfect burrito. And my goal was to have a burrito made the way I want it. One thing that makes me difference is when from all the touring, like I basically have a solid idea of what a burrito is in my mind, and that's the way we make it. It's like we do that without trying to necessarily commercialize it or optimize it for maximum profitability or anything like that. Like obviously we want to keep the doors open, but it's like we're not charging for extra guac because guac should be in the burrito. Like that's how it should be. Like you should have different hot sauces that you put onto it. Like it shouldn't just be like some bottle of Tabasco sitting there. Like it should be a hot sauce made just for burritos. And it's kind of wild too. Like sometimes I go out and I'll stop somewhere stupid like fast food and like I'll get something that will be $9 and I'm just like, damn it, like that's what my burrito is. Like we make all this from scratch. Like we're using good stuff here. And like you'll go to some kind of chain place and it'll end up being like $14. So it's just like, screw you guys, I'm doing it $5 cheaper, deal with it. And you're like, I'm not paying myself $500,000 a week like some of the corporate places are. It's just like I pay myself next to nothing and just worry about keeping the doors open and keep it rolling. One of the other fun things is like nobody's really telling us what to do. It's just like we're doing what we feel is appropriate and is awesome. So we're really making the best from that, and we have full control over it. It's so fun to like have that ability. And it's a place that like a lot of restaurants are scared. They play to the market and things like that. And it's just like you play to what you're confident doing to your craft, and you go with that. We're also not trying to imitate anything that somebody successful is doing. We're just trying to make a great burrito. So that's really our goal and like why we're doing it. I do love it. It's hard to say. I don't know. It sparked an interest in food for me too. Like I took food a lot more seriously. I travel for all kinds of other stuff. I'm working on opening a donut shop with a friend of mine from New Orleans. Working on opening 2 bars at the moment too. Like I got myself in way too deep with this. So, just keep cracking at it though. And through that time, I found a bunch of awesome people around here, and they just want to throw in and help the project get better. And like I guess just avoiding things like scene politics and stupid stuff like that. Like somebody might have done something stupid when they're 16, but that might have been 10 years ago at this point. So just being able to work with people and try and do something awesome together. And a lot of times people that you don't know that well, or you always thought they had a stupid band or something, they actually have some good qualities about them that you may not have seen before. They're the things you don't think about when you're 16. The reason I do it is just to make the world more of what I wanted, and other people seem to like that, like at least share a vision, and it's fun. It's punk rock. Not too many people do like add a punk rock ethos to food, so like I felt that is very appropriate. It's a lot of fun here because with food's kind of wild because like in the food has changed drastically in the last like every decade. You can name a serious tragedy that's happened with consumption in America of food, and what we've lost is basically a do-it-yourself ethos. And when you do it yourself from scratch, you can make those decisions. You don't have to be like, oh well, I have to order everything from fucking Cisco. You can be like, no, like who is that like person that's started up a small farm? Like I love supporting shit like that too. So people want an experience that they can come in and expect. It's just like, oh, if I'm going to this new restaurant, I expect it to be like this. And if it's anything different, then I'm going to be all rumbled up and never go back there thinking stupid. So it's like people come in here and it's a lot different. And the people that have that attitude of I'm going to go check out something new, like here it is, like we're not afraid to have a little personality or just like make a decision or have a stance on something, So it's fun having that. I guess that's kind of punk rock too. Restaurants are just always really difficult, and like the era of the independent restaurant is pretty much over. And if you don't go into it with just like that PMA that like we got to make this work, like, and if you don't have like at least 2 or 3 friends that'll help throw in, like a restaurant will not happen. Like my friend Travis helped out. I remember one time in particular, he showed up early to shovel, out in West York, one of the first days we were open. He showed up early, shoveled the snow, and he was like all excited, thinking like, oh man, I'm going early, like so awesome, we're gonna open the shop anyway. And then I just show up and was like, all right, dude, let's get to work. I had worked like 48 days straight without like a single day off, and a full day is like 16 hours. It's just like, fuck, dude, it's the grind, but we're doing it because we love it. It's a sense of community. There is a sense of community here, which is kind of different. Like I've seen like within a lot of scenes, like especially from touring, you learn like there are some scenes that are put together for different reasons, and this one does seem to be put together for community, which is awesome. That's one thing. Maybe that's, I won't say it's different than the West Coast, but the East Coast might have a little bit more of. And then once you start getting to rural East Coast, it's like a lot more apparent. It's just like, man, there aren't that many of us here. We gotta stick together. Yeah, I guess I've always had the ethos that like, if you're not in this area, if you're not doing something cool, nobody's gonna do it for you. You have to do it. Like, you just have to do it. It's not like in LA where you can just have something awesome going on 4 or 5 times a week. It's like here, it's just like that one cool thing that happens might be once a year, maybe. So when it does come along, stay positive and throw it in. Like keep it rolling. So.